Okay, my friend, welcome into the species section. We're going to be talking about this first category of the fishing formula, this first step. Who is the target prospect? All right, let's jump into this. Look, as I said in the previous video, when I started to fish, I really had to learn the hard way that if I wanted to catch a specific type of fish, that I needed to be more on purpose. I need to be more purposeful about my fishing expedition. And if I wanted to be even more purposeful, I would decide before I went out fishing what actual species I was going to target that day. And some of that would be because of the season. Some of that would be because of the temperature. Some of that would be because, weather conditions. Or it would be because that's the kind of fish that I enjoyed catching or enjoyed eating. So I'd like to invite you to begin to think about right now the sort of people that you would enjoy working with, and that you would enjoy doing business with, and that you would enjoy actually having them as a part of your life. And we're going to talk about, obviously, you being able to relate to your target prospect and having similar stories that you can tell that they're going to understand. We'll get to that here in a second. But remember this, it's always better to be more purposeful about the type of fish that you want to catch that day before you go fishing, instead of when you're already out there and you don't have the right bait and you don't have the right reel and you don't have the right equipment and strategy to be able to actually catch the fish that you want to catch. Okay? So let's talk about how niches and the target prospect play a role, how they're essentially like two people being married. They're two peas in a pod, as some people would say, right? So there's these big three niches that you've heard me talk about before in their health, wealth, and relationships, and I want to get a little bit more kind of layman's terms, not so technical. I want to break this down so you really, really understand it, okay? These niches, the reason why they're the big three is because people spend money. Key words there, spend money for faster, easier, more beautiful, slimmer, sexier, richer, to be pleasured, loved, and adored, and respected by others. These are the things that people will spend money on. And even more specifically, let's think about this in terms of how we market these products, right? Because if we think about something from the perspective of not just what the product will do for them, but how it's marketed, we can understand this even more. So for example, if I market a health-related program, say it's a 6-week course to get in shape. Now, if I market that as, look, my friends, I am going to help you get healthy over the next 6 weeks. You're going to be healthier than you've ever been. Your heart is going to be healthy. Your organs are going to be healthy. And you are just going to be the healthiest you've ever been. That course, let's just imagine it's a 6-week course. That course is going to sell similar to snow shovels being sold to people in Florida. You're going to knock on doors, somebody in the Sunshine State, which is where I live, and you're going to say, I got this wonderful snow shovel, and they're going to say, oh, okay, I'm not really interested in that. Don't really need that. Don't really want that. And that's the key word, don't really want that. But if I take that same 6-week course and I say, over the next 6 weeks, I'm going to show you how to become slimmer, sexier, potentially even richer because you'll feel better and have more energy. But most of all, I'm going to teach you how to be adored, how to be loved, how to be respected. And instead of you being the one who's always chasing, those girls, I'm going to show you how to have girls chasing you, because you're going to be in the absolute best shape of your life. And I'm going to show you how to do it without all of the work that normal routines and workout exercise programs ask you to do, and without giving up any of your favorite foods. Which one do you think is going to sell better? No brainer, right? Because people all want change, but they don't want to change. And that's unfortunate, right? We're going to talk more about what really creates change, what motivates people to change, and it's a 4-letter word that starts with a P. I wonder if you can guess it. Get your mind out of the gutter. It's called pain. It's called pain, right? Most people don't wake up and say, you know what, I'm looking to go spend a couple of $1,000s on something today because, I'm feeling okay, but I really just want to be healthier. No, otherwise McDonald's and Taco Bell and Arby's and Chick-fil-A and fried food and cigarettes and beer and drugs and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera people quit smoking only to go inhale some other chemical that we're not totally sure what its long-term effect are with vaping. And hey, no, if you're a vapor, hey, you can't hate me for at least telling the truth, right? So we have to understand that the reason why these niches are the big 3 is because the way in which we can frame the marketing to sell the products, because this is the things that people want. And most importantly, what they'll spend money on. They'll spend money in the health niche to, slimmer, sexier, get rid of a pain, diabetes, erectile dysfunction, loss of hair, right? All of these things, right? But if it's sold from a preventative, hey, I'm gonna sell you this course to help you take preventative measures to keep you from having heart attacks. Unfortunately, the way that the system is, maybe one day we'll get to a place to where preventative measures and maintenance sell better than fixes in pain medication. But unfortunately, right now, the marketplace and the psychology of how people work, they would prefer, a pill, or they would prefer the pain to stop. Okay, wealth. People will spend money to be able to get in a better financial situation. They just will. They want to learn. People, whether you love it or hate it, money solves problems in this world. Relationships. People want to be loved. They want connection. They want sex. They want these things that if you're going to be a good marketer, you have to understand and become comfortable with the idea that these are the things that people want. And these are the things that people are willing to pay money for. And when you know that, even if you have a program or a product, you're promoting a program or a product that does benefit people in other ways, you can sell them what they want on the front end, and then you can mix in what they need on the back end. And that's one of the secrets of success with selling information, is you have to understand that people who are in the mode to buy are typically buying to buy what they want. But in order for them to have long-term change, you need to give them what they need. That's why we sell them what they want on the front end and give them what they need on the back end. So that's something to put in your back pocket in terms of how you frame your marketing and how you in understanding and relating to the person who is at the other end of your marketing message. You have to understand what people will spend money on. And I'm not saying that they won't listen to you if you're talking about preventative measures and so forth, but they will open their wallet to stop pain. All right. So let's get a little bit more granular. I want to give you some examples of these 3 niches to show you how they're sub-niches within niches. So it's not just the wealth niche. If I say, hey, I'm going to go into the wealth niche, I'm just, doesn't mean that I'm going to go out here and I'm going to talk about generalized how to build wealth. I mean, it's too general. And if you think about in terms of a doctor, a general practitioner makes less than a specialist, like a brain surgeon or an anesthesiologist. So we want to be a specialist. We want to be more specific. And that's a general rule of marketing. You want to be more clear and you want to be more specific. And we'll talk about that even more here in a second, but let's give some examples. So day trading or stock trading, stock advice, tips, those are an example. Tim Sykes is a guy who sells stock and day trading information courses and coaching. Motley Fool, Stansberry Research. I gave you other examples in the earlier parts of this course around some of the 800-pound gorillas of the financial stock and day trading industry, like Agora Financial, Palm Beach Letter. These are all companies that have made, at this point now, this is a multi-billion dollar industry of just day trading in stock tips. Okay. Then moving over to the right, you have what I've done for the past 10 years, which was more make money online. Strategies, tips, techniques, and business models to make money online, whether that's affiliate marketing, whether it's selling courses, coaching, events, whether it's even doing things like network marketing, e-commerce, Amazon, drop shipping. These are all ways to build businesses online, okay? Then you have something that's maybe a little bit more mainstream, maybe people enjoy listening to on a podcast. Your everyday average Joe likes listening to a little Dave Ramsey or whatever about budgeting and saving and investing. And it's all great information, but that's just another subcategory, sub-niche within the wealth niche. Okay, is this starting to make sense to you? Let's move on. The health niche. So we've got a company named V-Shred, an example, in the weight loss for men, more targeted towards men. You've got a company named Lady Boss, who's a young lady and her husband that started this line of courses and diet plans and even came out with some supplements later on for specifically for women. So everything was geared towards women, right? Just a little bit more sub-niched within that health niche. Then you've got Diabetes Freedom. This is an offer that ran and is likely still running on ClickBank for diabetes. And when you go and you look at the marketing of these companies and these marketers, you'll see that you'll see the way in which they've applied those principles that I was talking about just minutes ago about helping people get out of pain, right? So it's really interesting to see great marketers, great copywriters write sales letters and sales videos for a program like diabetes, right? You're thinking, how can you sell that? But the way in which the copywriter pulls the pain out, tells the story of somebody who had diabetes and really gets the watcher of the video or the reader of the sales letter engaged, you'll see how they open up that pain and tell stories to allow those people to be able to really see and relate and identify, and then position the product or program as the solution, provide bonuses, give a risk reversal, 30-day money-back guarantee, and then a strong call to action at the end. These are the formulas. This is the formula of direct response marketing, which is, again, the marketing style that we use to sell information. Relationships, all right? Third of the big three. You've got dating for men. This is Double Your Dating. Example, just one example, okay, is the David D'Angelo, who's the pen name for Eben Pagan. I showed you his content in earlier sections. Early adopter, one of the OGs in the game, one of the early info marketers who did it right, who used direct response marketing to sell their ebooks and information products. You've got dating for women. There's a I think he's an Aussie, but he could be a guy from the UK. You know, us Americans sometimes get the accents mixed up, but his name's Matthew Hussey. He sells coaching courses and does events for women with love, dating, relationship advice. And then you've got this other entire, underground niche in the relationship, which is the PUA niche, the pickup artist. And one example is the Devotion System. I think you can still find that product on ClickBank. You've also got a book that really made that industry pretty famous a while back by, I believe his name is Neil Strauss. He wrote a book called The Game. And there's been many other great marketers who have come out of that pickup artist. The target customer in that niche is the guy who just, is having a hard time with picking up chicks, basically. And wants to figure out how to be more successful with that. And it's this huge movement. And a lot of it's about personal development. A lot of it's about techniques and stuff. I have been fascinated with the marketers and the copywriters in that particular industry because of the way that they use detailed stories and really kind of pry into the pains of their target market, target customer. Of course, it can get somewhat interesting to read some of that sales material, right? Because they're really getting personal, talking about guys' sex lives and so forth. So those are some examples of those sub niches. So hopefully you've wrapped your head around not only the idea of targeting a prospect, but also the niche that you can begin to label and categorize a niche. Which is basically the category in which those prospects kind of fit into. All right, different from water, where they're at, which is going to be the next section. That's more platform, like where are these people at? Are they on Facebook? Are they on YouTube? But hopefully you can understand more about the idea between the target prospect and the niche and how they are really kind of one and the same in a sense. Now I want to move on. I want to show you and talk about now how to execute on this. And I want to start out by saying, after I've given you all this information, that you don't have to be an inventor, right? You don't have to be Thomas Edison here with his phonograph, later known as a record player. You're not breaking ground. You're not blazing new trails here. As a matter of fact, you really don't want to venture into a niche that's not already proven. And that's a question that I'm gonna give you later on to help guide you to always make sure that you're marketing to people who you have evidence they're known to buy, right? I see marketers sometimes coming into the online space and they say, "Oh, I want to find something that's not saturated," and it's like, no, it's not. Nothing saturated at all. Nothing at all in the world is saturated, right? You actually want competition. You want to know that people are buying in that niche, and you just have to figure out how to do it different or better, okay? Bottom line, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. There's enough examples already out here that we can learn from, right? I mean, I spent earlier entire sections of this course going over examples of legendary marketers who have been creating sales material in these niches back into the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. And obviously, there's examples in some way, shape, or form for even earlier than that. They just may not be documented or as easy to find, right? So here we're going to move into an extremely important part. And I want you to really lean in. Not that everything up until this point wasn't important, but this is really, really important for you to understand. And it ties into what I was talking about before with really creating your marketing in a way that's geared towards their pain, but not just their pain, but their present pain. So it's really important if you want to sell lots of product, if you want to generate lots of traffic, if you want to have and create sort of frenzied buying, and it's possible. And there's a very big difference between a slow trickle of sales and frenzied buying, like literally creating rabid buyers. When you focus your marketing and your messaging on the present pains that people are dealing with, then you will see response like nothing you've ever experienced before. And obviously, the style of marketing that we use is called direct response. So what we don't want is no response. We don't want somebody to watch our video or read our ad and not respond. We want them to respond. So if you want them to respond, you have to focus on one thing and one thing only. And it needs to be your number one focus before and above all the future pacing and what life could be like if they, took action and all the goals that they have that they want to achieve. No, if their goals motivated them, then they would have already done it. If their goals motivated them, then they would have already been taking action. I mean, the 1% of the world, I'm just hitting you with truth. The 1% of people are motivated by their goals. Everybody else is motivated by their pains. And even those who are motivated by their goals are also more motivated by their pains, right? It's the difference between being pushed and pulled. People are pushed by their pains. They're pulled by their goals. Where most marketers screw up is they try to attract the people who are motivated by their goals. They try to speak to those people. And it's just not, it's not that you're not going to get a response. You will get a response from the 1% who are motivated by their goals, and then a few other people who are like start stuff but don't ever finish anything. That's just human beings. It's just human nature. So we need to focus on what their present pain is. So I'm going to go through a couple of examples of a male who wants to make money online, right? In the wealth niche example. This is just a niche that I've worked in for the past 10 years, so I understand the messaging in the present pains. So the sort of one of the largest categories of people in terms of males who fit into this, I want to make money online, it just is that they feel inadequate they despise answering to a boss that they hate. They want more respect, more purpose, more money, a nicer house and car, more positive sexual attention. Right? And this is the language that's so common that all people who are marketing products, courses, services, business opportunity programs use, right? I mean, it really boils down to that person feeling like a loser, right? Like I'm not making enough money. I'm building somebody else's dreams, not my own. And that begins to make people resentful. It makes them bitter. They become pissed off. And it's even worse if their boss is a jerk. And I'm being real vivid because I want to catch your attention, but I also want to give you permission to begin to adopt the vocabulary of the conversation that's already going on in your target prospect's head, right? So they're not going, when their boss tells them, get your butt up and get back to work, they're not going, oh, my boss, I'm really tired of building his dreams with, no, he's going, F that asshole, that jerk, I'm tired of answering, right? So it's important for you to begin to understand, to learn the conversation that's happening in that prospect's head, because the more specific that you can get in your marketing, even if it's just a video on YouTube or TikTok or a post on Facebook, the more you can use that very same language that's already happening inside of that person's head, the more of a response that you're going to get, the more rabid those people are going to flood your sales funnels. And that's the difference between big response and small response. So I'm going to drop all the way down here to the bottom in the bright orange section. This might be another decently large demographic or category of males who want to make money online. They've tried other businesses to earn income and they've struggled. Okay, they lack focus and commitment, like shiny object syndrome. They've been caught up in that. They've also been caught up in the guru gauntlet, as I call it, jumping from course to course, business to business, and they feel like there's a missing piece, or like they've been lied to, misled, or even scammed. And I know this because I've put hundreds, thousands of people into a questionnaire survey because I've researched my target market so much. And 90-something% of people will say, I didn't have the support. I got involved with scams or whatever. Now, even if they weren't scammed, even if they were the one that took no action, even if they were the one that signed up and did nothing in that business or in that course or whatever, that's not how they feel. How they feel like there's a missing piece, like the gurus are hiding something from them. Like they're not giving them the full story. They've been misled. They've been scammed. That's why the word scam is such a common word. It's because it's just easy to say, well, I was scammed, instead of take personal responsibility. Right? So personal responsibility is like one of those things that 1% of people in the world take. You know what I mean? So you have to remember that. One of the strongest, most powerful angles that you can use in your marketing is to tell somebody it's not their fault. Again, you're giving them what they want on the front end, and then slowly but surely on the back end, you're spoon feeding them doses of reality that, okay, now you need to take responsibility for losing 100 pounds in my weight loss program. You need to take, I can't do it for you. You're going to have to show up to the gym, or, avoid eating 2 boxes of cookies at night or whatever, right? But you're not going to hammer that on the front end unless you don't want to sell anything. You know what I mean? So let's move up to this pink section. Here's another example, right? This is another present pain. He realizes that what he signed up for by following the quote unquote system, go to college, get a job, etc., isn't what it was cracked up to be, and now wants to follow his head and heart and be an entrepreneur and work to fund his dreams versus other people's. So it's more of a corporate job. Like, I did everything right. I was a good little boy. I got good grades. I, graduated high school. I went to college. I took out those loans. I got that degree. And now I hate my job because I realized that I've got all this debt and it's going to take me forever to pay it off. And I'm not even doing something that I love. And I still have a boss that I hate. Right. So that would be more of somebody who's in a, maybe what you would call corporate America, or a existing career or something. Okay, now let's give another example. This is going to be a religious-based one, but you'll see how this can be interchangeable, right? They're Christian. They feel all the above stuff, plus they want to work around other Christians. So, it's just maybe they just would identify or relate more to somebody who has something that is in common with them. Right. So if at the beginning of your ad you said, attention Christian entrepreneurs, attention Muslim entrepreneurs, right? You could attract somebody. You could even do it by an area. Attention Florida entrepreneurs, and target, attention Florida, men wanting to transition to entrepreneurship or start a business online. You can see how that piece can be interchangeable. You could also do attention nurses, right? And I'm going to show you how you can use your story to relate to their present pain. And even if you say attention nurses, and then you tell your story, other people will relate to the feelings that you tell, even if they're not specifically a nurse. So the point is that there's two things here. focusing on present pain and realizing that's what motivates people more than anything. And also specificity in your marketing, being specific with not only those present pains, but also the language that that target customer is using to describe their situation on a regular basis. What are the words in the descriptions that they're using? What is the story that they have in their own head? And how do they explain their situation to other people, right? They're likely not going around taking total and personal responsibility to everybody else. They're saying, well, if I made more money, then I'd be able to afford a trainer and better food, right? So it's like, there's a reason why I haven't been able to be successful with other weight loss programs or, fitness programs. There's a reason why I haven't made it in other businesses. And it's not me, it's because I haven't gotten the support, or I've been scammed so many times. So we have to understand the story that's going on in their head, and also the way in which they're explaining it and justifying it to themselves and to other people, if we want to connect with them, if we want to have a chance to offer them transformation. And really what this is about, it's about connection and empathy and understanding, right? You want them to feel seen, heard, understood, empathized with. You don't want them to feel judged. So it's really important to be able to tell their story. That's what this is all about. In your marketing, you want them to be watching your video or reading your ad or sales letter going, man, he's telling my story. He's telling my story. Okay? So let's go through some questions that can help you as if you were brand new. Okay? These questions would help you to be more clear. Now, if you're already an existing marketer, affiliate marketer, and you're looking to get more clear on your niche, your niche and your prospect, these questions are really important to ask. So first and foremost, do you have personal knowledge of the specific present pains people face in this niche? If not, can you learn about them? So copywriters who write for product owners and write for other marketers and businesses do this all the time. I mean, many of those legendary marketers that I introduced you to at the beginning of this course were copywriters. And I really think that every great marketer knows something about copy and can at least write decently good copy. And even if it's not your full-time thing. But if it is your full-time thing, what you're doing all day, every day, is you're doing product research before you begin to write marketing material for whoever your client is. So the reason why I say if you don't have the specific present pain, can you learn about it, is because a lot of marketing is about researching. It is about asking questions. It is about trying to survey the audience. It is about trying to have conversations. One of the things that I do here at Legendary is have a daily interview that both provides content and value to the audience, but also continues to keep me in the game, having a conversation with people to help me to continue to stay fresh with the language that they use to describe various things in their life, in their business. So there's lots of different ways that you can learn about it if you don't already have that personal knowledge. What are those present pains? List them out. Just write them out. Just like I did on that previous slide. Like, write them out and try to be specific as possible, and write out examples of the stories and the words and the things that they say in their head about their life and situation. And also write out examples of ways that they explain their situation to other people and justify why they're where they're at to other people, right? So you can really have that full vocabulary and that full understanding of the language, the story, the conversation that happens in that person's head. Now, part of marketing, again, is going to be to empathize at a certain point. We're going to list out all these pains in our ads and in our marketing material, and we're going to do them mostly by way of telling our own story. But then we're going to make them feel like they're not alone. And that's one of the big pieces for them to feel like, oh, I want to buy from them. I can trust them because they understand what I've gone through, and I'm not alone anymore. I thought I was alone in this situation, and I felt so alone, and now I realize that this person totally gets me. Okay? It's kind of like you've heard this for ages in romance. It's like, oh, I finally found somebody who gets me, right? Well, you want everybody who watches your video who is a target prospect, the person that you're targeting, you want them, when they hear your marketing material, when they hear your videos on YouTube, TikTok, your post or your ads, to say, that person gets me. Okay? All right. This is a big one. I said I was going to get to this. Are people in this niche known to buy to solve their problems? And do you have evidence of it? So, do you know, can you prove that people in this niche are actually known and proven to buy? If you follow the niche suggestions that I've given in this segment, in this episode, then I can tell you there is evidence. But it's also important for you to go and to list 5 examples of marketers using direct response marketing to sell information products. So go out and find those examples, list them, and then those can be part of your research that you go to see, okay, what are they saying? How are they hitting on present pains? And once you've gone through this information, this course, you'll be able to, I'm basically giving you a different set of glasses to be able to see other people's marketing through. So you'll be able to pick up on these things and then deploy them in your own marketing. Can you be more specific in who you target to give you more of an advantage, right? I gave you some examples: Christian entrepreneurs, Muslims, women of newborn babies, mothers, dads, the dadpreneur, nurses, construction workers. Can you be more specific with just not only telling your hero journey, which I'll talk about here more in a second, but also can you even call out those specific people to niche down to that target prospect even more? Like attention nurses. I saw a great ad one time of an affiliate marketer that said she had a picture of her in her scrubs, and she was like, attention nurses. And she basically just hit on the working long hours, answering to a boss I don't like my job, but am away from my family too much, not enough money. And she said, if you're interested, comment below and I'll send you some information. There was a Facebook ad that was running. And the interesting thing was, down in the comments, when people were like, info, I'll take the info, and going crazy down in the comment section of her post, was that even though people weren't nurses, they were like, I'm not a nurse, but I can totally relate, right? So part of her being specific in her current career or her past career was it further humanized her, and it gave people other things to be able to relate to. I'm gonna go deeper into that here in a second, but I want to give you this last final thing to be able to look at a niche and ask 3 simple questions. Is this a niche that I should go into? There's a guy, he's a legendary marketer. His name's Jay Abraham, and he says there's only 3 ways to grow a business. You got to increase the number of clients, get more new prospects into paying customers. That's the first way. The second way is to increase the average transaction, get each client to buy more at each purchase. And the third way is to increase the frequency that the average client buys from you, get each customer to buy from you more often. So I've simplified that down into, 6 words. Does the niche that you're looking to go into and the target prospect that you're looking to target, do you have evidence that you can get new customers on an ongoing basis, that you can sell them higher ticket stuff on an ongoing basis? In other words, they'll buy higher ticket stuff if you sell them an introductory product. And then third, can you do repeat business with them? Can you get them on subscription products? Can you sell them new training courses or new things on an ongoing basis, right? Subscription style business, continuity style business, new customers, higher ticket, repeat business. There's a lot of businesses that look shiny and attractive, business models, but you can't do these three things. Like e-commerce, like, oh yeah, I'm going to sell physical products. I'm going to sell mugs and teddy bears. Awesome. You can get new customers in that business, but you can't sell them higher ticket teddy bears. You can't sell them more teddy bears likely after they've already bought a teddy bear for you. Or there's only so many coffee mugs somebody's going to be willing to buy, and you certainly can't sell them a higher ticket coffee mug or a higher ticket t-shirt. So we get back to the core four business models of selling information, which covers all three of these. And it's your job to make sure that the niche in the target prospect that you choose, you can check these three boxes with whatever you're going to sell them. All right. Here's where we get into the grand finale of this section. And I want to bring this together with some story and some real life examples. So as you can see, and you probably know because you've heard me say it before, I started in this business, I was working construction. Okay, I had just come from being homeless. I was struggling with drug addiction, alcoholism, and I basically was sleeping on my dad's couch because he actually let me come in and he gave me a chance, basically gave me not a handout, but a leg up. And I went to work with him on his construction sites. He paid me out of his own pocket. Really, there was not like more income was created. He took money out of his pocket to give to me to help me get on my feet. That's why I've been so passionate about giving back to him, helping him out. You've probably seen some of those videos as well. But eventually I saved up enough money to buy an old Ford F-150. I was going to go and be a construction business owner until I realized how much, honestly, it sucked to be outside in 100-degree weather 10 months out of the year. And so I got prospected by some dude in an MLM. I got into it. It sucked. I failed. The company got shut down. But I said, there's got to be something to this. And so I went online and I actually got involved in affiliate marketing. And I actually began selling training. I went through and learned myself how to market, whether it was a network marketing business or I got introduced to affiliate marketing. I learned how to do that. Then I started selling courses to other network marketers to say, hey, if you were doing chasing friends and family and, driving around town with a magnet on the side of your truck like I was, then enter your email and I'll take you to a training video that shows you how to do this online. And I earned my first checks. Those are them. These are some of my most proud pictures. And the reason why I tell that story is because what story can you tell that they will relate to? See, I've been telling this story for the past 10 plus years. And do you think every single person that I've ever sold a course or a product to has been a construction worker? No. But they can relate to the struggle. They can relate to being broke. They can relate to driving the old truck. I used to have to start this truck with a screwdriver. I'd have to open the hood and sparks would fly. I'd touch the screwdriver to the solenoid, and I was so broke I couldn't afford to pay attention. See, the details about the story can be different as long as the feelings are the same, as I've just described. The present pain is more relatable if it's described through a personal story. And one of the phrases, quotes, sayings that I like to say is never make a point without telling a story and never tell a story without making a point. So you can see that what I've been describing to you over the last several minutes in terms of understanding the present pains of your target customer can really all be packaged rather nicely into a personal story that you can use in your content and in your marketing to be able to hit those hot buttons, to hit those really painful scabs, scars, wounds that people have that they want some damn pain medication for, just like I did, honestly. And you can make them feel like they're not alone. And it's a powerful process. And I've got an exact formula for you to use to be able to do this. And here it is. It's called the Hero Script. I called it, named it the Hero Script, but I actually learned it in 12-step recovery, believe it or not. I actually went to treatment early on. Seems like another lifetime, but I started to go to 12-step recovery meetings. And eventually, I started to get asked to actually share my story. And I said, well, hell, I've never told my story. I don't even know where I would begin. And somebody told me, well, just use this formula, Dave. What it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. And so I did. And I've also sat in rooms all across the world listening to people, use this formula. Met people from all over the country and all over the world who use this formula. And they're not experienced marketers. They're not trained salespeople. They're not motivational speakers. But they just use this authentic, simple formula to be able to tell a story. And it works. People walk out of the room and they say, I felt like that guy was telling my story. Right? So you can borrow this. You can borrow this the same way that I've borrowed it as well. And it's not rocket science. It's not something that I invented. I didn't invent it. It was given to me. And it's worked. It's worked in both non-business settings and also in business settings. And I see all these people out here, they're these storytelling, selling secret experts, and they've got these complex formulas, and it's like, okay, we're not writing a Hollywood script here, folks. We're just, we want to tell a story to a regular person who's having some damn pain so they can relate and give a good, honest look at what it is that we're selling here and might actually help them with their problem. So if you use this, it will work. And I know that for a fact. So do your homework. Go back through this section. Go down to the resources section below where you can find the questions, the slides, so you can go back and you can continuously ask yourself. And I invite you to revisit those questions to really understand the present pains of your target customer every 3 to 6 months so you really stay tuned in. And you can really make sure that the words and the descriptions and the conversations and the language that you're using in your videos and your ads and your posts and your emails are actually similar to the conversations that are already going on in your target customer's head. All right, on to the next section, water. Let's start looking at where do they hang out at. I'll see you in the next video.